So a lazy Saturday afternoon, and we decided to head to one of our favourite places, Glencoe. And for those of you that have been to Glencoe, you'll probably recognise this little white cottage. It's quite a famous cottage, and it's been photographed many times and walked past many times by people heading up this rather famous mountain that we were heading up. Anyway, the path runs round past this cottage, and the way we were going, the path goes round the front of the mountain and takes us to a point which is called the Water Slab Stone, and just beyond that we stopped on the screes to do a wee piece to camera before heading up the route. Well, here we go, Jerry. This is looking rather fabulous, isn't it?
Always does.
Yeah.
Always does.
Yeah. So we're back in Glencoe, and you've probably just seen a few bits to camera where we've just been walking in, and behind us is the vast expanse of Rannoch Moor, and in the other way behind the camera is a rather big
vast expanse
of rock. Yeah, of rock. So we're just a short day. We're going to head up Curved Ridge, which is fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, it's a great outing. So Jerry called to ask if I wanted to come, and never say no to Curved Ridge.
Yeah, we haven't been out for a wee while. The other been both ploughing their own furrows, I think.
That's it. It's been busy, isn't it?
It's been busy.
So yeah, we're going to head up here, and yeah, we'll bring you back at the start of Curved Ridge.
A few wee beasties around. You might see a wee cloud, a bit like Linus. Is it Linus with a blanket?
I hope not. Right, shall we go and let's get a bit higher. So with the beasties starting to bite when we stopped, we headed on a bit further, and as you can see straight ahead of us, there is a massive amount of rock, and before long the screes stopped and the scrambling begins, and at this point we decided to stop, get a wee drink of water and some jelly babies, but also put the helmets on at this point because you never know who's above you and what might get knocked down. So we just got them on nice and early and started heading up the scrambling, which takes you on a bit further to the start of Curved Ridge. Oh, there we go. So that's us at the start of Curved Ridge.
I think it starts a wee bit lower, but this is the first decent bit, isn't it?
Yeah,
first continuous bit.
Yeah, so it's there's a wee bit of a scramble to get up here. There's nothing too tricky or demanding, providing you're used to scrambling and a bit of exposure. But even getting up to this point, it's a route finding. If you've never done it before, it's quite easy to not find the start of the route and go up something else, like somebody might have done the very first time I did it many moons ago.
It's a common mistake with amateurs.
Or idiots.
Having said that, I'd come up here one day and it was in thick cloud, and just at the bottom between D Gully Buttress, just where we traversed across, there's this blank face, and there was a group gearing up with rock shoes on, and they thought it was the Rannoch Wall.
Oh really?
And they're just above the water slab.
Oh really? Oh god. Yeah.
But so it's very confusing. There's a lot of rock, but you know what? It's a lot of good rock.
A lot of good rock, yeah. This is a fantastic route. One of my favourite way up the Buchel. Nice, relatively easy scrambling, and it's a wee bit of moisture in there at the moment, but it's
still. The rhyolite's very square cut, so even in torrential rain, you get good holes and good friction. Unlike the Arica schist, don't go near it in the wet.
Yeah.
But this stuff, even in the wet's okay.
It's pretty good if you know what you're doing. Right, so we're going to get a wee drink here, and then we're going to get going. I'm going to put this camera away and get my other camera out.
And the one that makes you feel sick.
The one that makes Jerry feel sick, but I'll try not to do the sickness shorts when I'm editing it. Or I might do it just for you, Jerry.
Just thank you, Murray. That's going to get
right, something to drink. Beautiful. So another wee drink, and we were soon setting off up Curved Ridge, and there's a few sections which are relatively steep to start off on, but you get sections which are steep, and then it tends to be interspersed by sections which are less steep. And not too far up the ridge is the Crux Corner, And it's, as I said, it's a corner where the difficulty is just a wee bitty raised, but it's all there. The holds and the foot placements are all there to be found, and if you're missing them, you just need to spend a bit of time and concentrate, and you'll find your way up this wee section. And that's where Jerry's going up now. This is the crux corner, and then I followed Jerry up after he'd got to the top. Now, once again, please note that these action cameras do make it look a lot steeper than it actually is. The angle is skewed here. It's steep, don't get me wrong, but not as vertical as this view may imply. Anyway, one of the main sort of features and one of the reasons why this scramble curved ridge is so popular is it's more to do with its location. I mean, it's on this fantastic mountain, and this side of it's just sheer rock face, but to the other side of it is the expanse of Rannoch Moor, and it's just this open moorland, and that just gives it a uniqueness and just a special feeling when you're going up. It's just a fantastic location to be on, and at any point you should always just stop, take your time and take in your surroundings, whether that be looking over to the Rannoch Wall to see the climbers heading up classic routes like Agag's Groove or January Jigsaw. It's a fantastic place. And we were soon heading up, and as I said, there's some short sections which are relatively easy and hands in the pocket stuff, but every now and again you get a wee steepening where you have to concentrate. Really is nice. Anyway, I should also mention that I think Jerry cursed this because it did start to rain. You maybe don't make it out in this footage, but for most of the way up it was a bit damp. There were a few puddles in some of the holds, but nevertheless a rather atmospheric place to be. I should also mention that once you're on the ridge, it's the route finding's pretty easy, but as I mentioned before, my very first attempt at curved ridge on a lovely February day, it wasn't in winter condition, but I came up here and a climber who'd followed us up what we thought was curved ridge informed us that we'd just done D-Gully Buttress, so just something to be wary of. Just make sure you're on the right ridge when you start off on. But once you're on the ridge, it's lovely and there's no real route finding difficulties to be had. Although it was now clagged in a wee bit, it was very atmospheric, and every now and again the sky above you would notice this black dot that would be getting bigger and bigger, and it was the resident raven from the summit that you usually see on the top, which we did when we got up there, but it was flying around the rocky crags, probably taking a keen interest on these two chaps heading up Curved Ridge. And because we'd left it to later in the day, we almost had the place to ourselves. There was a few rock climbers over in the Rannoch Wall and in other parts of the Buchel, but we did have, for the main part, Curved Ridge all to ourselves, which was just absolutely fabulous. You usually get a concession of people coming around here, and quite rightly so. It's probably one of my favourite scrambles in Scotland for its grade. It's relatively easy, the holds are all there, and you can do it in all sorts of weather, providing you're happy with a wee bit of exposure and your scrambling skills are up to scratch. That's right, just there. Oh, so that's us at the top of Curved Ridge now. There's a wee tiny cairn, you'll not be able to see it, and from here you can there's a number of ways up. You can go up Crowberry Tower. If you go back and look at my videos, I've gone up various ways from here, but yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
As always.
Bit damp.
Just as I said down there that the friction's always good in the rain. The rain came on.
It's quite good in the puddles as well, wasn't it?
It's fine. A couple of wee ledges with puddles, but it's lovely. I think if you've not done Curved Ridge before and you can't find a big hold, either you're off route or you're not looking.
D-Gully Buttress.
I think you did that first time.
I did, yeah. So, it was good.
Yeah, no, it's been lovely. It's always good. It's just a feast of holds and some nice wee moves and steep corners. a lot of places you wouldn't want to mess up.
No, hence with a bit of kept the helmets on just in case.
Somebody above you kicking stuff down, somebody like me.
Right, shall we go in a bit further?
Right, let's go.
We'll go to the top.
Just go to the top and then we'll come down. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Let's go. Bro, the views are opening up now, eh?
You see, what, a good 20 metres.
Look behind you.
Alright, good. How you doing, team, alright?
Yeah, not bad. Same while watching your videos last
Alright.
Oh, so behind us, or between us, you might be able to see, is the summit of the mighty, I was going to say the mighty Buchel, I suppose it is, Stobjerag. And quite a nice wee sociable place, met a couple of folk up here, very friendly, so nice to meet you if you watch the videos. Yeah, so it's been a wee while since we've been up here, isn't it? It's a year maybe?
Maybe, well, 6 weeks for me, but
yeah, but a bit longer for me, but together.
A lockdown kind of knocked on the head for a while, didn't it? And I think what's happened with yourself, if I may say so, and with me, post-lockdown there's been a desire to go away further. Yeah. So I think we've both been away doing far away from those that you couldn't travel to.
Blame the family. I've been taking my son places, you've been taking your son places.
Exactly. But there's this whole sort of post-lockdown demob happy, I can drive 100 miles.
Let's go. End up in the North Sea. But no, it's nice seeing some familiar friends up here. The big Raven's been following us up the ridge, hasn't it?
Looking for scraps.
And there's always
unsuccessfully.
Unsuccessful. It's not getting in for us. We needed our calories, but it's kind of atmospheric every now and again. It's clearing. You're getting views down into the glen. It's lovely. But yeah, we're not going to stick around too long. We'll have a wee bite to eat here. And then we'll go down the walker's path, which still needs a bit of care, doesn't it? It can be quite steep at the top, especially in winter or spring.
I think it's bloody horrible, to be perfectly honest. I might need to take that bloody word out, but it's
no swearing.
It's horrible. Yeah, you've got to be careful on it.
Yeah. Well, swearing or on the descent?
Both.
Well, you could swear on the descent as well, couldn't you?
All things. No swearing.
No. Falling.
No descending.
Just stay here.
Anyway.
Feels like the sun's coming out, doesn't it?
Right, well, stay classy, Kinloch leaving.
Stay classy, Kinloch leaving, yes. Yeah, I'm going to report back. This isn't the end of the video. We'll report back to show you the dodgy bit. Right, let's get the bags done. Let's go down. After loitering on the summit for some time and saying hello to our wee Raven friend, it was soon time to saddle up, get those backpacks on and start thinking about heading down and back towards the car. And we headed back down the ridge off the summit of the Buchel, and before long we'd come down to the Bielach. And just beyond this point here where we are with the camera here, it does steepen considerably and you do have to take a bit of time. And in any winter conditions or spring conditions for that matter, if you check out the videos I've posted in the description below, you'll see some trips we've come up curved ridge and had to get the ice axe out to descend down this section because it is blooming steep and a lot of care is required, especially in the winter. So anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there as always, and I'll see you on the next adventure.